powers to innovate, create, and collaborate, making apps that continue to change the world.
Dub DC 2022. Happy Monday. It's 10:02 a.m. See what we see today. Monday. Today was MPI day on the Sterling 540. It got a bath today, washed off 2 years worth of desert dirt, and boy did it actually clean up pretty good. I'm really impressed with the quality of the paint and clear coat considering it's been outside out in Paris for 2 years. It's not perfect. It's 119,007 mile car at this point. Style 32s, you could probably do a lot better than that with more time and detail and the right brushes and more aggressive soaps and whatnot. It needs a front bumper, don't they all? At this point, people just drive until they hit something. So this is all scrapes from parking pylons. This fog light looks like it's pointed up too high. We're missing trims for these grills. This fog light's really bad because the holes in the bumper are all washed out. This pork chop lower fender liner is gone. Holes are washed out. That means new bumper time, new pork chop time. The fender liner's trashed, got a big chunk out of it there. It's got a big gnarly crack on the inside. Something hit here and sliced this. I call it the fuel filter cover, even though the filter's on the other side. It's the same thing on this side. This hole's washed out, nothing to go through there. Big, not crack, but slice in the cosmoline along here, ripped off that mounting point. That mounting point's washed out. And then the scuffs, the scrapes, whatever it hit, continue all the way back down the frame rail nearly until the end. But there's no rust on this car, no chassis damage per se. This rear left is the spare. It's the only one running a Dunlop from 2015. The rest are Michelin Pilot All Season 3s, which desperately need to be replaced. There's a nail in the front left, no tread on any of them. Brakes are all fine except the fluid. But this is the original spare. Somebody put a new Dunlop on it in 2011. The rest of the tires are 2014. The original rear left wheel wearing a date code matching Michelin. Look at that. Someone's been driving on that. The original wheel was in the spare tire well, and they put it in there with salt on it. And now there's some corrosion in the bottom of the trunk well there. We vacuumed it out. Paint came with it. It's certainly not beyond a good hour or two with a wire wheel and a can of spray paint if you just want to make sure it doesn't continue to worsen and become a problem. But other than that, the standard stuff, it needs outer tie rods, boots are cracking, the curved arm on the inside is leaking grease, straight arms are probably original, have cracked boots. The little rings that hold the boot down snug over the ball joint socket are missing on 3 of the 4 ball joints for the front links, so I'm going to recommend replacement there. All 4 shocks are blown, we'll recommend that. Driveline seems okay, flex disc is okay, CV joint's been replaced, center exhaust mount's good, it needs engine and trans mounts. Rear upper control arms are toast, ball joint boots are totally shot, there's no play in the wheels. Diff's dry, so that's nice, we may not need to dig into the driveline. I don't know what his budget or expectation is with this car, we'll just present the MPI results and let him go from there. Old fuel filter, then a whole bunch of crap under here that was just very poorly done by a mechanic in the past. These 10 mils that hold up the O2 sensor management were just hand tight on all 4 of those, 2 on each side, so we tightened those down. One of these 13 millimeter center exhaust bolts was hand tight and backed out several turns. We see another one here backed out. It looks like someone just started, they put stuff in by hand and told Joey to come over here and tighten them in. No offense to you, Joe. I don't know why I just picked that name, but it never happened. So we'll get an 8 mil on that, turn that in. Engine belly pan is somewhat intact. It's filthy, filthy dirty, but it's not really badly damaged. All the holes and mounting points are there. The hardware's there. It is missing the oil drain bolt access door, as many of them are now. This, to me, looks like this bumper has flexed a hell of a lot. It's also loose up here, and the flexing would have caused the paint to splinter and crack and chip like this. Same thing on the side. I could be wrong, but it just needs a new front bumper. It needs paint on that. The roof, trunk, and hood are actually okay. Trunk lid's been painted. I don't know why. Everything inside the trunk minus the tire well looks okay. Front right door actuator's lazy. Thermostat code in the DME, typical stuff for a 540. So the Canadian car, finally shifters back together, wired. We had to reconnect the little bushing thing on the back of the shifter, so that's turned around and corrected now. I don't think my dad or Mike knew that those were directional. Now they do. I got the MQS, which I found out stands for Micro Quad Lock System, something like that. Where are they? What did I do with them? There's a little bag over here somewhere with all of those adapters in them, or all those harness wiring things in them, and it's right. I'm so happy about that. I've already lost them. I'll have to order more. Here they are. So Ted found these, Blue Bus Ted, big thanks to him for helping out. These, pretty much we're going to take a 4-pin connector that used to go to the SMG. I call it the AT&T switch, the one with the little bars that increases the shift speed. We take the illumination wires, positive switched illumination and ground, take them out of that 4-pin connector, put them into this, and then plug the shifter right in. No cuts, no splices, totally factory looking. Couldn't be happier with that. So I'm going to order more. I ordered 10 to make sure they're right, and they are. So we'll get more of those coming. My car, hey, the grill badge is back. Everyone hates it, and that makes me like it a little bit more. Kenan says it's a bug stuck in the tooth. I think it's a fun little splash of color I put on for about 2 weeks every 3 years. So it's in. I put that on Saturday. Let's see, what else? Really, the 540 was the vast majority of the day doing all the work on that. We need to get it out and drive it. Still waiting on the radiator to show up for Toledo Blue. Then we'll be able to get everything else back together. The pulleys and tensioners are in, belt system's working and fine now. We just need the radiator. Then we can put in the expansion tank, new fan and clutch, stuff like that. Radiator's on its way. It was due Monday, then it was due Tuesday, now it's due Thursday. Super, super annoying. We got a new M5 up there on the lift, which I'm going to show you last because I like to save the best for last. I mistakenly closed the gate here while I was on the phone, and there were some weird people walking around, so I just wanted that shut. Let me get us through the gate. 2 cars out here. I'm about to move them inside. The Le Mans Blue 2003 is done. We did the fuel pump, Venturi hose, and 1 door lock actuator, rear right door panel repair, and that it's ready for pickup. He's out of town traveling. His son's gonna come pick it up sometime this week. Sepang, running, driving, still waiting on the custom solution for the transmission. Block off ports, but got the shifter in here, used our connector, got everything in there and tucked in beautifully. It just looks fantastic. And then he opted to do the DTC button panel with the heated seat button instead of the MDM one. That's $200, and I'm still waiting for him from Germany. Supposedly they're manufacturing more. It's twice the price, and the DTC button is coded and programmed to work exactly the same. It would be a plug and play change later if he wants to get the right button, but literally the only difference is the print on the button. So yeah, couldn't be happier with this. All back together, runs, drives, sounds great. He's gonna be thrilled with it. I don't know if he wants us to fix the soft close function on this front driver door. It doesn't work. We'll see on that. Let's check out the new car. This is a lovely M5 from Mississippi. It arrived today, went out on Friday, and this is a one-of-one car for North America. I believe it was imported after the fact. I don't know. That's not really legal, at least not in California. This is a 25th anniversary 2010 E60 M5 SMG, presently in frozen gray metallic, the very first car that BMW ever did frozen paint on. This is not a wrap. It is not aftermarket. This is factory matte paint. I don't like matte paint myself, but it's cool to see one of these. Side marker light looks aftermarket. I don't know if that M5 badge is factory or not. Little grill badge there in the front grill. It's got about 101, 102,000 miles, I think. Couple little scrapes down below, but it's all here. It's pretty darn clean. Some scrapes on the belly pan, sure. Trans pans here. Exhaust is clean. These things just don't leak like the older cars do. They do eventually, but it takes a lot more miles. Maybe it's had a cat from here back. I didn't notice that before. Not a factory clamp. We get to the back, we see Eisenman exhaust. I don't know if they did race and sport for the E60, but it is Eisenman. It's actually older than the car. It says 12 of 07. If that's a month or a week, I don't know. Probably a month. I'm excited to hear it. Eisenman went for the oval tips, which I think is curious. BMWs have never had that. I don't personally like the look, though Eisenman exhaust probably sounds pretty awesome on this. It's got its factory wheels, factory brakes. I see blue springs, probably Dynon springs. They look like factory struts, Sachs brand struts. Needs upper control arms, don't they all? Looks like the links have been tended to fairly recently. Cool things continue inside. Let's put it down. Okay, does anybody see anything different about this? Take a look down the side, notice the mirror. Anything different? You really have to know the E60 M5. I could tell because I'm used to driving one of these cars on a semi-weekly basis. This is a November 2009 build car. That makes it a 2010 model year. probably the rarest of them all. And the 2010 cars were actually fitted with larger side mirrors than the 06 through 09s. Somebody must have complained, or a regulation changed, or something happened that made BMW add 3/4 of an inch to the height. It is taller than the standard mirror. It is the exact same length, but it is a larger, taller mirror with more reflective surface area. We can see that this car has a light beige, sandy colored Alcantara headliner. I have never seen that before. We open the door and we find that that color continues on the seats. It has cooled seats, it has active seats, it has heated seats, it has soft closed doors, though of course the driver's one doesn't work. We'll see if he wants us to fix that. It has AC Schitzer pedals in it, 2 of them right now. We'll be adding a 3rd pedal soon when parts start to come in. Obviously in SMG, we see the black trim. We see full leather, complete leather, whatever they called it. I do not know what that is. I do not believe it is factory. I'll have to talk to the owner and see what's going on there. He actually owns another one of these cars in like brilliant white metallic, another one of one car. The next VIN, he owns 2 E60 M5s with sequential VINs. How do you do that? I don't know. Super, super cool. There's our 1109 build date. It's got sunshades. There's the soft closed door function. Super cool. Sunshades, USB port in the glove box. Never seen that on an E60. Heated rear seats. That's a nice option. The gloss black trim's really cool. I like it. That 545 we had some sort of very similar. I don't think this is Steinway, but it's a high gloss polished black trim all over the car that looks amazing. This is an LCI thing. You got nicer speaker covers, the revised door panel design, leather, bust leather all the way down here. I guess those were painted the same color as the leather, so that's cool. It's got Sumotomos on it. Curious choice. We open the trunk. What do we see here? Another option: split folding seats, exceptionally rare for the E60. It doesn't have the storage cubby here, which is weird. I've never seen one of those without the little cubby. And then here it's missing that cubby as well, so I don't know what's going on there. It has the M5 trunk mat. I think it's factory. Looks like the backing's peeled. I'll have to talk to it. Maybe that was an option way back in the day. Super, super cool. This is an oil pan gasket, and this box is full of rod bearings, a high-pressure Vanos line, some sort of Vanos sealing kit in the Vallejo box, I think, or is that this? I don't know. I got to talk to him about work scope. We may be subletting this for rod bearings and those sort of jobs too. This looks like a 2010 sticker. The other E60s I've worked on don't have that little sticker there. Oh, what else? Look in the front. Let's go out to 0.5. Super, super clean. The lighter colored leather does wear faster, unfortunately, so you see a little bit of wear on that driver's bolster, stuff like that. 100K on the car, so it makes sense. I was actually able to find the MDM panel that replaces that TPMS switch on top with the MDM button and retains the active seat and heated and cooled seat switches. So that's a crazy rare part to find online. It's a beautiful shape. It's going to be going in this car. Of course, this is the CIC navigation, huge improvement over the CCC navigation system, and another weird option that they waited until 2010. Here I can see there's windshield tint installed, undoubtedly matching the side and rear window tint. That one works. And par for the course up here, everything looks pretty standard. S85 B50. I see facelifted xenon warning stickers. This is my level of detail here at E39 Source. The other ones have the longer E39 type sticker. Looks like somewhere between 08 and 10 they went to the little ones that you can still buy today. And there it is, $490. That's the custom color, frozen gray metallic. Odd that there's no like 25th anniversary badging or nameplate anywhere, at least that I found. It's got gloss black grills. I just noticed now it's got the RPI air scoops in red. Really cool car, really unique car that it's kind of an honor, it's kind of a privilege to get something like this and be trusted with a car of this caliber to do the complete conversion on and to do a 100% factory job and make this thing really, really right. So we're excited to get started. We received the transmission today. Customer supplied that. He was able to find an E90 M3, low mileage, like 50,000 mile used transmission. I don't see any salt corrosion on it, so that's a good sign. This one came with the M3 shifter carrier. The selector rod's still on there. We get another wiring harness. I'll throw that up on eBay. The E9X M3 slave cylinders are plastic. We replaced that garbage with the metal M5 one. The clutch line in the bracket. Comes with a throwout bearing. We'll certainly be replacing that, cleaning up the bell housing. Yeah, yet another one. That'll be, what, number 7, I think, the 7th conversion and the 5th M5 conversion. And E39 Source all of a sudden has 4 E60 M5s, an F10, 2 E39 M5s, a 540, and 2 530s. Quite a nice little collection here. I'm going to get out of here for the day. I will talk to you guys on the road or at home or probably in the garage. Home, Monday night. We're going to talk about WWDC. Try to keep that fairly quick. Worldwide Developers Conference 2022. Hadn't released hardware in 5 years. Today we got hardware. Not starting at the top of the keynote, but at the top of my head. There's something on my hood that's messy, and we're already going to go over clean that tomorrow. So we get an M2 chip today. I would love to get some sort of gauge, some sort of understanding for what the M2 chip is. They gave a lot of technical jargon. Yes, I understand some of it, not all of it. Obviously an improvement over the M1. It was bound to be. Is the M2, I want to see the M2 in comparison, put it on a bar graph next to the M1, the M1 Pro, which I don't think should exist, and the M1 Max. And how close is the M2 to the M1 Max? Probably not that close. It's just an evolution of the M1. So eventually we'll see those metrics. We'll see the Geekbench 4, Geekbench 5, Geekbench 9, whatever the hell they're on results when these devices start shipping. So we see a new MacBook Air. Is it bad if I say it looks fat? And I know it's just that the whole thing is now the same thickness, and it used to be the edge, the leading edge under the palm rest, under the trackpad, was so paper thin. You looked at the computer and thought it's like a piece of cardstock. It's like 2-ply toilet paper thick. Well, yes, but it thickened as it went towards the center. Look forward to seeing it. It's got the new keyboard. It's got the M2. It's got a bigger display. MagSafe's back. 2 Thunderbolts or 2 USB-Cs now open. Looks cool. I'll see it in the store next time I'm in there. And then, of course, they're also putting the M2 chip in the, wait, did they say 13-inch MacBook Pro? Is that still a thing? I kind of don't like how Apple is leaving around their older products for like multiple generations. I feel like you can go and buy a 13-inch MacBook Pro with a touch bar, and then you can get the Apple one with the M2 chip versus the i5, and then you can get the 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 or the M1 Pro or the M1 Max. No, we need fewer options. But anyways, mostly a software day today. iOS 16, macOS Ventura. I guess I've been saying that wrong my whole life. I've said Ventura. Nate, the original Californian, let me know what's right. Not wild on the orange wallpaper. I don't love orange as a color, though it's very Apple. It looks nice. Incremental updates, a lot of cool little features, the ability to edit messages, adjust the home screen, customize a lock screen. Customizing the lock screen, I like the idea of widgets. The astronomy wallpaper seems really cool. I have no desire whatsoever to change the font and to stylize that. To me, that looks cheap and it looks aftermarket, and I don't like either one of those things. So I won't be doing that, but I will certainly take advantage of newer wallpapers, adding widgets, seeing the little Uber countdown, the NBA game live stream. That's freaking, not live stream, but like live score and time counter. That is awesome. I very much look forward to that. I plan on downloading the beta when it's publicly available. That means it's somewhat usable and won't just delete everything and disable Wi-Fi. So we'll let the developers deal with those headaches. When the public beta comes out in July, I'll jump on that and try it. As far as the Mac goes, I won't. It's too important to run the business. I cannot have any problems with that. I can deal without the iPhone now, at least in some capacity. So other stuff, I'm missing a whole bunch of shit. They didn't talk about tvOS at all. Apple Watch stuff seems small and incremental. I don't need a whole lot there. I'm on a year outdated hardware already. I think I'm gonna be on an every other year cycle with the Apple Watch. So assuming they come out with one sometime later this year, depending on the price point, depending on what I can get for my series, whatever I have, I think it's a 6. I might trade up to that. I still have the iPad Air 12.9 inch, but it's the one before the M1, the 4th gen. So if they come out with one that's an M2 or they throw an M1 Pro in it or something, that would be cool. Maybe, no, it works perfectly for what I use it for. I use 2% of that device's capability. I'm gonna leave it there. Leave some comments down below. We're over 4 minutes here. What did you think of today's event? What are you excited about? What do you want yesterday? The ability to edit messages seems super cool. I love the new wallpaper, the astronomy or astrology or whatever. I'm tired. It's the end of Monday. I've been up for way too long. I'm going to bed. We'll talk tomorrow Tuesday. Night.